Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. I told you I'd be back, and here I am. So today, I don't know what the thumbnail is going to be at this particular moment in time, but you've probably seen from the thumbnail that I have been experimenting with a card, and I'm gonna go in and explain why, because why not?
They will never catch me!
As it stands right now in Hearthstone, control as an archetype is pretty dead. And as a control player, that does kind of suck. I hate the fact that aggro is everywhere. I hate the fact that there's no board clears in the game so much anymore, and the ones that are in the game kind of suck. So I've been experimenting with Endtime Murozond. Now this is a control tool in the sense that it basically gives you another chance. And I've been playing with Endtime Murozond in a few different control archetype decks. Now, I don't know if you remember back to, well, I don't know, 6 months ago, I was doing that series of cards that see no play. And actually, Endtime Murozond is in that list. He's very rarely played. But I have to say, I've not played many games with well, I've played a few, like maybe 11 or 12 games with him in various different decks. And the deck I'm going to show you now is the deck that I've had the most success with. But every time I've played him, it has been a massive, massive swing turn for me. And I've only lost in other matchups due to absolute bullshit RNG. So I'm not salty about, well, I am a bit salty about that because the fucking rogue randomly generating. Anyway, we'll get into that. So here we go. Endtime Murozond. Fantastic control tool because it, like I say, gives you that. There's a big fat reset button. The downside is that you miss a turn. But the deck that we're playing, hopefully that isn't so much of an issue. So after trying this in Warrior and Warlock, I finally settled on Death Knight. Because what is one thing that Death Knight can do that none of the other two classes can do? They can gain life over 30 HP. So the principle behind this deck is very simple. We play lots of leeches. We get our health total jacked way up. We try and deal with whatever our opponent is doing. We play that big oh shit reset button, heal up to hopefully quite a lot, and then go on to win the game. That's it in a nutshell. I've won a few games with this list without playing Murozond, but I did manage to. I forgot to get the start of the game, but that's what you're going to see now. I did miss the first couple of turns, but I did play Murozond in that game. But that is the gameplay you're about to see now. Whilst I run through this deck, and I mean, I've already given you the basic principle of it, but I will go through it one more time. So we start with Morbid Swarm. We want to get them corpses rolling early, and it's also 4 damage over the top to a minion if we need it. Infested Breath. We're basically running every single leech card that there is in the Death Knight class. I've got 2 Poison Breath, but interestingly, I've only got 1 Wild Pyromancer. Very simple reason why. 2 is a bit of an odd combo. The other Death Knight list I was playing, I had 2 Wild Pyros and 2 Poison Breaths, and I found that in most of those matchups, I didn't need the other Wild Pyro. If it was a wide board, then yeah, it felt all right. But 9 times out of 10, I was going for a single target removal. So we've got a hero power that does that. We've got a 2-mana hero power, and pretty much everything else that we generate or play gives us an undead that sometimes sticks on the board that we can drop it onto anyway. So I opted for just the 1 Wild Pyro. Chillfallen Baron is in for, obviously, card draw. Why not? And then I've got a Rushrot Viper. Now, this is a tech card. The reason I've got this tech card in is because where I am at Platinum, there is so many priests that I got OTK'd in like 3 games on the bounce by priest having that weapon. And if I can destroy that weapon, then we're all the better for it. So that's the only reason I've got the Viper in here. Plus, it's a tradable, so we can try and dig for things in our deck if we need to. I have got Staff of the Endbringer. It's just a board control tool at the end of the day. If we can get this equipped on 3, then by turn 9 or like the late game, when a lot of these aggro decks are starting to build up to their finale, we can just clear the board. End of. Job done. And it also prevents the Dragon Warriors from playing that stupid dragon that gives you a weapon, because I hate that card with a passion. We have got Husk, the Eternal Reaper. Play this before Murozond, and then you're guaranteed to, you know, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it gives you that extra safety net, almost like an ice block. It's a 4-mana ice block. That's the way I look at it, almost. Memoriam Manifest obviously is in here for more Arisen Elixirs, because we want to get that health total pumped right up. I'll be honest, I'm not a massive fan of this inclusion, but I have lost a couple of Death Knight games with this card, because you deal with one Elixir and then you get another Elixir and then you get another Elixir. That's a massive life total that you've got to try and get through. So yeah, hopefully you can utilize it. But I find I draw this all the time early game, and then it just sits in my hand and gets in the way a lot. So, but it's in for that reason. So that's why it's here. Obsessive Technician, I still think this card is overvalued and overstated. I think this should be a 3-mana 3/4 personally, or even a 3-mana 3/3 to be honest, but it needs to come down personally. I feel it needs to come down before turn 4. That's just how I feel about it. I think the whole Herald package for DK is too expensive, but the payoff then on the same token is slightly better, but you know. Envoy of the End, obviously, is in here. It's a Herald card. We need to get the Heralds rolling. I don't particularly like this card. I don't like the stat line of it. But personally, especially with Death Knight, because one of the Herald cards is an AoE, and sometimes you don't just want to throw that away at the wrong time. You need to sit on them and use them at the right time. Envoy of the End just makes perfect sense. Pterodax, obviously standard. Sanguine Infestation, standard. It's a leech card. Like I say, the animation, we don't just want to throw this away. So we you know, that's why the Envoys are in here. Hideous Husk, it's a leech card. It goes in as the best way to do it. Ultraxion, it's a Herald card. It goes in. Onyxia, Herald reward, goes in. Deathwing, obviously, goes in. And then we've got Endtime Murozond. So it's basically, in a nutshell, it's just a standard Herald Death Knight with a bit of a twist. I'm running Murozond in it for that sort of like skip a turn reward thing. You're about to see now. Honestly, guys, like sometimes you just need that. If you can get your health total right up, and some of the dragons you can seriously low roll with this card. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that this is absolutely the best card that has ever been printed in Hearthstone, but sometimes you can high roll. I had a warrior game earlier on where I played this and I got 2 rushes, 2 taunts, and I mean the minion I got off the taunt was absolutely terrible, but it was a 4/12 that the 4/12 that gives you a minion from the past, and it gave me a 2/1 at the end of it, but it was still a 4/12 taunt. I got 2 rushes, 2 of the 5/5 rushes from Warlock, and then a few other sort of token dragons. The worst one I've had, I just basically got a board of the 4/1 with Divine Shield, 3 2s. Yeah, so it's very hit and miss, but it's still a board, and it's still something that your opponent has to deal with. So typically when you play Murozond, a lot of people don't ignore it. They tend to try and clear up a little bit first, and the second turn, then they think, oh, I've got another turn, and then go face. It's worked well enough for me to want to make this video for you. But like I say, this is part of I'm going to put this in the whole cards that don't see play series. But I have now climbed a little bit with this deck. So I've only played 6 games with this particular Death Knight build. And of those 6 games, I've won 4 and lost 2, which is in the meta being as it is right now, I feel that's pretty good. And the only reason I lost those other ones is because, again, I did that whole backwards draw thing where I drew Deathwing, Ultraxion, the 5 drops before turn 3, and my opponent just had the absolute nuts. So what can you do? I feel like I'm waffling again now, guys, so that is it for this one. I think I said I was going to do a quest hunter. I did do a quest hunter. That was before the class sets came out. Really disappointed with the class sets. Well, for mage anyway. Hunter's just annoying. Paladin's getting on my tits. So I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I'm going to try and stick with control in some way, shape or form. And you never know. I might find something that is worth playing sooner or later. But that was this one. And that's it. So I will be back at some point. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.